Good morning, everyone. This is John Heerdink. I'm the managing member of Tribe Public. Thank you all for joining and for all that will join today. Tribe Public is an organization that is connecting interested investors across the world to learn about the companies that they care about. We do that through the wish list process, where at the website, Tribe Public, TRIBE public.com, 24/7, 365, people can enter names of companies that they want to meet. And if we get enough interest, either for a webinar, as in this case, or in an in-person meeting, typically over a beautiful luncheon in a city in the US specifically, we'll try to get those CEOs out to provide a corporate sponsored event where you can learn directly from them. Today's situation is where we have an event that you joined, where we have a speaker, a CEO, Dr. Teper, who is the founder, chairman, and CEO of a company called NAYA Biosciences. Dr. Teper has over 30 years leadership experience as a biopharma entrepreneur, corporate executive, and management consultant that included leadership positions at Novartis, GSK, and Sanofi. NAYA Biosciences is building a group of agile, disruptive, high-growth companies dedicated to increasing patient access to life-transforming treatments in oncology, fertility, and regenerative medicine. NAYA's capabilities in biology, cell and gene therapy, and artificial intelligence provide a synergistic platform for the accelerated clinical development and commercialization of these breakthrough treatments. Pretty exciting company. Very excited to speak with Dr. Teper, that I've known for a number of years, and I'm excited about his current venture. The company is just note that we also run an investment advisor called Vista Partners, a registered investment advisor in California. Website is vistapglobal.com, and that we are shareholders of NAYA Biosciences and Invo Biosciences. Thank you again for attending, and we're going to do this in a question format. We've got a number of questions that have been submitted today, and we're going to go directly through that. Try to be relatively short and sweet, around the 30-minute mark. And then we'll have this published at the Tribe Public YouTube channel sometime later today, if all goes as planned. One other thing you should note, that recently on October 23rd, Invo Bioscience, NASDAQ symbol INVO, a publicly held healthcare services company focused on expanding access to advanced fertility treatment worldwide, and NAYA Biosciences jointly announced that they have entered into a definitive agreement for Invo to acquire NAYA Biosciences in an all-stock transaction. Again, thank you. Dr. Teper, thanks for joining us today. We are excited to have this chance to ask a few questions of you and for us to learn more about NAYA and your venture moving forward here. And thanks for taking the time. Let's just go straight into it. You are remaining the chairman of Cytovia. What is the relationship between Cytovia and NAYA?
Well, John, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. Cytovia is a company that we started in late 2019, focusing on natural killer cells, developed, two platforms, one of gene-edited cell therapy and the other one of multi-specific antibodies. So we raised over $70 million in Cytovia as a private company. We've advanced the platforms and some of the products, including 2 products ready to go into clinical development. We made the decision last summer to reposition Cytovia as a drug discovery and early development company, and to go beyond natural killer cells. So the leadership of Cytovia will continue to grow the company based on the existing IP and know-how. Cytovia has sold to NAYA Biosciences 2 products, which are bispecific antibodies going into the clinic, as I said, for a substantial consideration, primarily in equity, but also in cash. So that will give the resources to Cytovia to continue and expand. I will remain the chairman of Cytovia to guide them strategically, and I will take the role of CEO of NAYA Biosciences, which is an independent company where Cytovia is a significant but non-controlling shareholder.
Well, thank you. The next question is you're adopting a business model for NAYA similar to that of Roivant. Symbol on that one is ROIV and has gotten much acclaim as it's been able to build great value and wealth for its shareholders. Does this address the challenges faced by biotech in volatile financial markets, or how do you see this, and why are you going down with this model?
Sure. I mean, every company has their own corporate culture and strategy, but the business model of Roivant and other similar companies, I think, is quite attractive in the current environment. The medical technology is advancing at an extremely fast pace, which means that the life cycle of products is very short, and products that seem to be like first in class, by the time they get into phase 3, often are not the lead product anymore. So it requires to be extremely agile. Also, pharma companies are increasingly selective, so they have many products on the shelf that are attractive to smaller companies, and Roivant and others and ourselves are interested in acquiring those products. That's also the case of smaller biopharma companies that don't have the resources to advance their pipeline. So we are focused on potentially very high growth opportunities that are undervalued and can be acquired at favorable terms. We focus on disruptive opportunities, and clearly, whether it's oncology or regenerative medicine, there's a lot of disruption with cell and gene therapy and other technologies. And as far as fertility, which we'll talk in a few minutes, we'll talk more about it. Fertility is a very high growth opportunity, and there's a lot of demand that exceeds what's available today.
Got it. I think just last week, if I'm not mistaken, I think on the same day that you announced your the combination of the merger with Invo, Roche announced that they had acquired Telavant, which is Roivant Sciences subsidiary, for $7.1 billion. So obviously another stake that they've made, a successful move that they've made, and hopefully we'll see the same thing out of NAYA as you. And
John, this is an asset that they acquired, I think, in the last couple of years. This is the business model that we may have for NAYA Oncology, where we have milestones, clinical milestones in the next 2 years, and one of the options for NAYA Oncology will be to partner or divest one of both of the assets to a larger pharma company for phase 2-3 development.
Got it. I guess taking a step back and moving towards the merger with Invo, next question says, were you interested in the NASDAQ listing only, or did you see growth potential in the Invo business that exists today?
John, I think that initially we were interested in the NASDAQ listing, but very quickly we assessed the fertility opportunity, and we now are looking at the fertility business as being one of our primary focus going forward. I mean, again, if you're looking at supply versus demand in vitro fertilization and in a new approach that INVO is pioneering, which is intravaginal, the intravaginal approach to fertilization. You've seen a growth of 78% since 2015 in the number of assisted reproductive technology cycles. Those are CDC numbers. That's just in the US. The numbers are significantly larger, worldwide. Some people are suggesting that the demand just in the US may be up to 1.5 million cycles. And there's too few clinics and too few physicians to answer that demand. So there's a great opportunity for the companies in that field, and there's a great opportunity for INVO and for NAYA Biosciences.
I would agree. Following up with there's a number of questions around the part of the announcement that you made during the merger. It says there's an estimated $5 million or more in interim private financing info and a private offering by a combined company at a target price of $5. Can you speak to that and the valuations?
Sure. I mean, INVO is a great company. It's undervalued, and it has had some challenges maintaining its listing. So we want to deal with it proactively and make sure that we maintain the NASDAQ listing. So that's why we've volunteered to invest $5 million in INVO in the very short term, even before the transaction closed. As you said, we announced a definitive agreement on October 23rd. This requires clearance by shareholders, of course, but also by the Securities and Exchange Commission. That typically takes 2 to 3 months. So we anticipate a closing in January, February timeframe. We want to make sure that the NASDAQ listing is maintained and that we have enough time to not only get SEC clearance, but capitalize NAYA Biosciences to be successful in years to come.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. The next question says, what are your objectives for the oncology business? What milestones, and again, to follow up, what milestones should we expect over the next 12 to 24 months?
So NAYA has acquired two bispecific antibodies from Cytovia, which you can see here. There's NY303, which is for targets GPC3 for the treatment of hepatocellular carcinoma. This is a disease with 800,000 patients worldwide. The current standard of care, which is checkpoint inhibitors plus Avastin, is only a 28% response rate and less than 7 months survival. So there's a great opportunity. We have very strong data that was presented at major oncology conferences, and our mechanism of action actually is very appropriate to the patients that are not responding to the telocentric Avastin standard of care. So we see there an opportunity that's probably north of $10 billion with NY303 and other similar products. We also see an opportunity to partner this product after phase 1/2A results, which we anticipate in 2025, and we've already have interest from major pharma company. Similarly, 338, which targets CD38. CD38 is the target of the monoclonal antibody Darzalex from Johnson & Johnson, which has reached $8 billion in worldwide sales in 2022. There are a number of patients that do not respond to this product, and bispecific antibodies are positioned as next generation best-in-class therapy for multiple myeloma. Again, the preclinical data is, very strong and is supporting phase 1-2 clinical development, and there's interest from big pharma companies. We have support from some of the top clinical opinion leaders that you can see on the slide. Dr. Lovet from Mount Sinai for HCC, and Dr. Lundgren used to be at Memorial Sloan Kettering, is now at University of Miami, or some of the top opinion leaders in the world on those diseases.
Fantastic. Thank you. The next question is getting to your acquisition strategy. I guess, could you speak to that and beyond the current businesses that you have in play here?
So, we're listing NAYA Regenerative Medicine, and we're not talking about, specific, program. We actually have 2 potential acquisitions, which we expect would take place post the closing of the merger with Invo, and they're in the field of regenerative medicine, and specifically, they're clinical stage, they're cell and gene therapy, and they're aiming to restore biological function in patients with damaged tissues and organs. I mean, you can see in this picture, the eye of an older patient, and so without disclosing too much, I can share that we have great interest in ophthalmology, where there's a substantial need for curative treatment, particularly for older patients.
That's great. Thank you. The next question is interesting. Sort of look forward. What will you consider a success for NAYA in the next few years?
So, maybe I would like to, come back to fertility and to the growth opportunities. We see significant growth ahead for the fertility business. InvoCell is a great, product. It is different from IVF in that the fertilization is happening in the woman's body, so it keeps the woman at the center of the reproductive process. It's a significantly improved patient experience. It's also lower cost. It's between a third and half of the price of IVF. It's been cleared recently by the FDA as having similar success rates to IVF. So we see it as a great product, and you've seen the numbers of cycles. So based on the number of cycles, just the product InvoCell has potentials of, for tens of millions of dollars in revenues in the US and more internationally, maybe more than 100 million just in the US. But beyond the product, Invo has adopted the strategy, which we believe is very smart, of opening new Invo fertility centers, as well as acquiring existing fertility clinic. Invo acquired last summer the Wisconsin Fertility Institute. This is a $5.4 million revenue clinic with EBITDA of $1.9 million. They're up to 100 independent clinics in the US, which are interested in consolidation, and we intend to participate in this consolidation along with some other, very successful companies in the space, like US Fertilities, TCRM, or Kindbody. We also see great potential in the expansion of employer benefits and insurance coverage. Right now, fertility is essentially a cash procedure, and there's less than 30% of the couples that are benefiting from either partial coverage from their employer or their insurance. Clearly, the InvoCell, product, which is at least as good as the IVF and significantly less expensive, product and procedure is very appropriate to expand the coverage. And last but not least, and we've learned, in recent weeks that the international market is actually very similar to the US. So the expansion to Europe, Latin America, and Asia is definitely something that we're looking at. Maybe not as a first step. I think the first step in 2024 it will be to consolidate the INVO Center, to refine the INVO Center signature clinic model, and then to further expand internationally in 25 and beyond. If we go back to the other businesses, I talked about the potential acquisitions and cell and gene therapy for ophthalmology. This is progressing. And regarding oncology, we have 2 first-in-class products going into the clinic in 2024, with data in late 24 and 25, which will create opportunities for partnership with pharma companies. And if you benchmark the partnership for similar products, they tend to be north of $100 million in upfront payment and significantly more in future milestones and royalties. So we're looking at NAYA Biosciences as being strongly capitalized at the closing of the merger in January, February 2024, and having the resources to create value in 24, 25 through revenues, through profitable revenue generation and scaling, as well as partnership with other companies.
Okay. Well, thank you, Daniel. Since we're getting right at the top of the hour here, wanted to thank everyone that came in to the webinar today, and ask you, Daniel, is there any parting sort of comments or thoughts that you'd like to leave with us? And please note that this video will be at the Tribe Public YouTube channel later today. And then we already have had expressed interest, and we have a planned event for November 9th here in San Francisco, where Dr. Teper will be speaking to a group in the financial district around 1 o'clock. So if anyone is on here that's interested, just ping me, and I'll see if we can get you a seat there at this luncheon and CEO presentation event we'll have next week. Daniel, is there anything else you'd like to add here to close out? Sure.
I would say that, in a very volatile health financial markets, and including for healthcare and biotech, we believe that you need to be creative and agile, and that we and a few others have a business model that mitigates the risk, because we have a combination of scalable, profitable revenues and disruptive technologies and products that can lead to significant transactions in the next couple of years. So we think that the business model is right for the current times. It's right for investors right now. It's not a binary business model, but I think you can notice that beyond finances, we do deeply care about health and patients, and everything that we do has the potential to be game changing for patients and their families. It's clearly the ability to have children for an increasing number of families is game changing for their life, and women having babies later in life, often because of their careers. This is a very important mission, and we want to contribute to that. So I think the combination in fertility, the combination of our experience in the medical field, with our marketing and commercial experience and our experience of capital markets, can make the difference and make, Invo as part of the NAYA Bioscience group extremely successful. At the same time, the oncology and regenerative medicine are addressing life situations. We talked about liver cancer, multiple myeloma. We're talking about, eye disease in older patients. So it's really an impact situation, and we're passionate about it. So, which I would say is, most important when you're considering, investing in a company, is to know that, impact on health and patient lives and their family is coming, before, financial return. Financial return is a consequence of success. It doesn't precede bringing value to patients.
Thanks again, Dr. Teper, for joining us today and giving some insight into your plans at NAYA Biosciences and beyond. And again, remind everyone, this video will be up if you'd like to view it. It'll be at the TriPublic YouTube channel very soon. And do continue to express to the wish list if you'd like to see Dr. Teper in your city as we move forward, and or back on a webinar later on as he advances his business plan. So again, thank you all for joining. Have a great and happy Halloween, and I wish you all well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, John.